warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Syafira Nur Pratiwi and I'm from English 2020. In this video, I would like to present my analysis result of English novel. The title of the novel is Percy and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. This video is made for fulfill the exam of extensive reading course. So, there are 9 contents of the novel analysis, and it used the 9 literary elements of the story, and they are language, plot, mood, setting, theme, POV or point of view, narrators, conflict, and the last is character. Before that, I will show you the quick information about the novel. So, it consists of 22 chapters, and for the pages, it depends on the year of publication. For this time, I used the electronic book or ebook version from the internet, and it has around 420 pages, and I'll put the link for the book on the description box. For the introduction part, this novel tells about the modern 12-year-old boy who learns and discovers that his true father is a Greek god, and he is Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. Percy sets out to become the hero by undertaking the quest around the United States to find the entrance to the underworld and stop war between the gods. So one of the gods has losing his powerful weapon, and it caused the war among the gods. And for this slide, these are all the chapters that I've been talking about. So there are 22 chapters for this novel. So the first element that we will talk about is the language. So in this novel, I found 7 things that related to the language element. They are English and ancient Greek, persuasive language, onomatopoeia, figurative language, sign or the body language, then sarcasm, and the last is comedy. The English and the ancient Greek. So, the author mixed the English with some ancient Greek dialogue to make the readers feel the Greek story that tells about the half-human and the half-god or demigod occur in many chapters actually, but I have 4 chapters as the example. So, the first English and ancient Greek language used in this chapter is on chapter 4. It said, "Oziu ka aloi theo." I'm sorry if I misspelled it. So, he yelled, and it's right behind me. So those words mean it's right behind me. This dialogue was said by Grover, the half-blood species. By saying this, the author wants to show that this character is a half-blood, because he can speak ancient Greek, which only half-blood or demigod, and the Olympians or the gods, that use this kind of language. And then there are 3 chapters ahead. There are chapter 5, chapter 6, and also chapter 10 as example. So the dialogue is, "I stammered, your father is the immortalist children." That's said by Mr. D. Mr. D is also the half-blood or demigod. And then in the chapter 6, Ere eskorasi, Annabeth said, which somehow understood was Greek for go to the cross. So this word means go to the cross. And chapter 10, Brakas me spesmini. I yelled. I wasn't sure where the Latins came from. I think it means it's my pants. And the next is the persuasive language. The main character uses these kind of sentences to attract the reader's interest by telling something strange that drives them to believe about the story and convince them that this story is real happened by saying, like this dialogue on the chapter 1. If you are a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on, and I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. But if you recognize yourself in the pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately, you might be one of us. And once you know that, it's only a matter of the time before the sense is too, and they'll come for you. So this chapter contains the persuasive language that drives the reader to believe that this whole story is really happened in the real life. The next element is language that I found is about onomatopoeia. So in the chapter 1, the metal blade that hit her should pass clean and through her body, as if he made of water. And the sound is hiss. So the main character describes the situation that he's facing at the time using the onomatopoeia. So the onomatopoeia hiss to give the reader imagination about the sword hit effect that melts something. And then the other chapter is chapter 4, roar. The monster turned toward me, shaking his meaty feet. So this roar to describe the sound of the monster scream. And then chapter 10, our bags. Grover realized we left our boom. And the sound boom, the word boom, is describe the sound of the explosion. And the other chapter is chapter 18, is growl. Good boy, I said weakly. This dialogue is said by Annabeth, she is in the underworld. And this growl is the sound of the dog. Still about the element of language, I have found the figurative language. In this chapter, I found the idiom. So Annabeth gave caution look. She wants to burst my bubble. So burst my bubble means to say or do something that shows someone that their beliefs are false, or that what they want to happen will not happen. So burst my bubble is the idiom. And then the other figurative language I found is the metaphor. It happened on the chapter 10. So a lot of hopes are riding on you, so just kill some monster for me, okay? So a lot of hopes are riding on you is the metaphor, but their hope will be happen. And for the chapter 15, the sun was sinking behind the mountains. This is also the metaphor that the sun is sunset. And then chapter 2, my heart hammering. I pick up the book and pick them from the hall. So the novel used the figurative language to show how was the main character feeling when he accidentally dropped something, when he was eardropping someone. So the dialogue is my heart hammering. The next figurative language that I found is simile. So it happened in the chapter 9. Over Long Island Sound, the sky looked like ink soup coming to boil. So the simile, it looked like ink soup coming to boil, is refers to the bad weather that coming up. So the next is the body language. It happened in the chapter 3. So the author also used the body signal to show emotion of each character. For example, is this dialogue. But my mom eyes warned me not to make him mad. The main character tried to tell the reader that by describing her mom's action, giving him a signal that told him not to do something that made the others mad by her eye movement. The next is the sarcasm. This kind of language, this sarcasm, it happened on the chapter 3. This dialogue is, I'm really sorry, I interrupt your incredibly important poker game. Please go back to it right now. There is sarcasm used by the author that's said by the main character to show how irritating his feeling and angry he is. But he didn't want to show it, so he used sarcasm to cover it, but the sense of angriness still can be felt. The other chapter is chapter 9. The dialogue is, I'm thinking to turning you into a dolphin instead sending you back to your father. This is also sarcasm that to mocking the son of the sea, the son of the god of the sea. So he told him that he will turn him into a dolphin. And the other chapter is chapter 10. It is bad luck to talk like that. See with brain. So see with brain is the sarcasm that addressed to Percy because he is from the son of the god of the sea. The last language feature is the comedy. It happened in the chapter 17 and the dialogue is, it didn't matter how big the city was, you could get anywhere without getting lost. The street pattern and the subway make sense. There was a system to how things work. A kid could be safe as long as they wasn't stupid. So this is the comedy that we can only sense by how we read it and we can understand what the meaning. So and the next comedy is from chapter 7. Chiron wrongly said, always constantly wrong said Percy's name by Peter Johnson. Then Mr. D gave the correction by saying, it's Percy Jackson, not Peter Johnson. The second literary element is plot. So it contains beginning, conflict, rising action, climax, falling action, and then resolution. So the plot is the sequence of connected event that make up a narrative in a novel. So the first one is the beginning. The beginning is happened in the chapter 1 until 2. This is the first time Percy encounters monster and sent to the summer camp, where he meet a lot of half-blood just like him. He discovers his teacher is also a god, and his friend is a satyr oracle that protects him. And the next is the conflict. The conflict is happened in the chapter 3 until 9. The conflicts began because the weapon of the Zeus gone by the thief, the master bolt of thunder, and Zeus point the thief is one of the other god's son, Percy, because having child for the big three god is forbidden. And then the rising action. It happened in the chapter 9 until 15. The thing began to complicate it since Percy take his quest to find the last master bolt and return them to the Olympus. Grover and Annabeth start journey together with them to the underworld and meet Hades as they suspect him as the first for the thief to save his master bolt. And then the climax in the chapter 16 until 20. The third is a reveal that the thief was not the Hades, and also he lost the important weapon too. So the thief is someone anonymous, and Ares, as the god of the war, is planning this scenario. So the thief is Ares, but it also has the other culprit that helped Ares. So the Percy has a huge battle with Ares at the chapter 16 until 20. And for the falling action, it happened on the chapter 21. Percy and his friends succeed to return the two items that has been missing. They are the Zeus Master Bolt and the Hades helmet, and went to the Olympus to meet the god, which is Zeus and Poseidon. They was not happy nor angry when see Percy. Then Percy returned home and met his mother and get back to the camp. For the resolution, it happened on the chapter 22. Percy found that the real suspect is Luke, one of his friends when he stayed at the camp. He betrayed the god and he tried to kill Percy but failed. Then he disappeared, and then Percy decided to spend the rest of the year come back to the normal school and waiting the next summer to the camp again. And then the literary elements number 3 is the mood. The most dominant of this novel mood is the heartwarming among the friendship, and then the other mood is about the sadness because of a family or trauma, and the last is anger and terrified that show by many characters when they almost facing death caused by the monster. So overall, for the mood in this novel is happiness, sadness, fear, and anger. And the elements number 4 is the setting. So there are two parts, there are time and place. For the main timeline, is the main timeline happened for this whole story from the chapter 1 until 22 is happened in the summer break or the summer solstice. But for the detail that I have found from each chapter, there are morning, afternoon, day, night, dawn, dusk, midnight, June 14, and at the sunset. And then for the setting place, as you can see, I have found at least 37 setting place from the chapter 1 until chapter 22. There are Yancy Academy, Museum, Mr. Burnell office, in the bus all the way to Manhattan, Percy's apartment, Montauk, which is the beach where Percy spent the night with her mother, and then Wooden Porch Farmhouse, Summer Camp Half-Blood, Strawberry Field, Cabin 11 Toilet, Canoeing Lake, and then Attic or the Order of the Counselor, Bus, the Garden, the woods near the pile of the garbage, and then the Amtrak train, the Mississippi River, Zoom Truck, Lotus Casino Las Vegas, Santa Monica, Water Pet Shop, and Dual Recording Studios, which undercover as the Olympus, and then the Red River Steams, the Underworld where the Hades and his row, and then Elysium, Judgment Pavilion, Field of Asphodel, House of the Hades, Santa Monica Pier, Empire State Building, Olympus, Percy's Bedroom, and then the last is Sword Fighter area. For the theme of this novel is I think it is ancient Greek, so the theme is ancient Greek story about the big three gods with the modern fiction style story with the action and historical background. The next number 6 for the elements we have the point of view. So I think this novel is used the first point of view. It can be seen by how the main character as the narrator from the beginning of the page, from the first page of the first chapter, and he said the pronouns, and this novel the main character always use the pronoun I most of the time. And the next element, number 7, is the narrator. So the narrator style using the first point of view by the main character itself, using the pronouns I throughout this whole story from the beginning until the end of the story. This is the dialogue. You might be one of us, and once you know that it's only a matter of the time before they'll sense it too, they'll come for you. I'm 12 years old. Until a few months ago, I was a founding student. And number 8 is conflict. So the conflict is around the missing weapon, as the title of this book is the lightning thief. So the weapon we've been talked about is the thunderbolt. So the conflict is about a rumor of a thief who stole a powerful weapon from Zeus, the god of the sky, or the god of the lightning, the god of the thunder, and point at the person who didn't know about that at all. And that is turned out to be a trap and create a huge misunderstanding among the god that almost flags a war. The last is the character. I have divided into 4. There are main and side character, protagonist, antagonist, static, and dynamic character. So main character is the central character of the story, and the one that the reader follows through the story. And then side character. Side character is who play a significant role and appear in multiple scenes, but who are not the main focus of the primarily plot. Antagonist is a villain or a bad guy in the story, often working for protagonist to destroy a heroic protagonist. Protagonist is the character who drive the action, the character whose fate matters the most, so they play a good guy, and antagonist is playing the villain or the bad guy. For the static character is a type of character who remains largely the same throughout the course or the storyline. So the static character, they has those characters just the same, remain the same from the start until the end. For the dynamic character, it can be changed throughout the story. Okay, we will move to the main and the side character. So the main character here is Percy Jackson, the son of the Poseidon, god of the sea, and then Annabeth, the daughter of the Athena, that also Percy's friend, and then Grover, the half-blood satyr that also play as the Percy's friend and the protector. So their character is main character for Percy and side character for Grover and Annabeth. The 3 of them is protagonist and static. And then the side character, we have Sally Jackson or Percy's mother. She is protagonist and static character. For Gabriel Agliano is Percy's stepfather. He is antagonist and then static. For Mr. Brunner, Percy's Latinus teacher, aka Mr. D, or aka the god of Dionysius, he is protagonist and static. And then Chiron is the person who accompanied Percy in the summer camp. He also half-blood, and he is protagonist and static. Luke, or the captain of the Cabin 11, the son of Hermes, he is the dynamic character, or the 2 faces that stab Percy from behind. He is antagonist and dynamic. For Mrs. Dodds, the one that met Percy as a fury from the underworld or the monster sent by Hades, she is antagonist and static. For M, the owner of the Genome Garden, which turned out to be the Medusa or the monster, she also antagonist and static. The next is Gladiola, the pink puddle that Grover found in the woods, is protagonist and static. The fat lady monster called Chimera is antagonist and static. Ares, the god of the war, is antagonist and dynamic because he also two-faces. In the chapter, there are chapters where the god of Ares is treat Percy with nice, and then in the end he show his true color that he loves war. And then Nereid is also the goddess, that the spirit of the sea. She is protagonist and static. Krusty, the owner of the waterbed shop, and aka the stranger, aka the prosecutus or the monster, is antagonist and static. For Sharon, the bodyguard at the Doa Studios, is protagonist and static, but he is a little bit gold digger or love money. And then we have Rottweiler or the monster, Cerberus, as big as the black mastiff, as big as the bear. He is keeping the key to the death of the underworld. He is protagonist and static. And then we have the last big character, but also side character, which only shown just a few in the end of the story. There are Hades, the god of the underworld, of the god of the dead. He is protagonist but intimidating and dynamic. His image is changing through the story, so that I said that Hades' character is dynamic. And then we have Poseidon, the god of the sea, or Percy's father. Percy's father is protagonist and static. He just remained being the good person for all along. And then we have Zeus, the god of the thunder or the sky, the one that lost his master boat. He is protagonist but arrogant, and then he is static. And the last is Argus. Argus is also the half-blood that he is work as the driver at the half-blood camp. And he is also a protagonist and calm and also static. So this is the conclusion from me and from the novel. So the conclusion from me. So in this analysis about the novel, using 9 literary elements of story, there are 9 types such as language, plot, mood, setting, theme, point of view, narrator, conflict, and characters. The most detail is on the language. I have found 7 types. They are the English and ancient Greek, and then persuasive language. I also found onomatopoeia, figurative language, body language, sarcasm, and the comedy. For the novel conclusion, so this novel has 22 chapters, and with the first point of view of the narrator, and using the English and also ancient Greek. This novel is telling about the journey of teenage boy, which he is trying to find his true dad and discover that he is a demigod. And the theme used in this novel is fiction, and the background story is from the ancient Greek of the Olympian god and goddess. So I think that's all for my presentation and my analysis about the novel with the 9 literary elements from the Percy Jackson novel. Here is my favorite quotes from the Rick Jordan, the Lightning Thief, from the series Lightning Thief, that go on with what your heart tells. Go on with what your heart tells you, or you will lose it all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.